Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you your $5 million dream home already exists? Not just in some distant future, but right now, waiting for your recognition. Not in the outer world, but in the realm of your consciousness. Here's the truth. You don't get what you want, you get what you believe you already have. If you're watching this, it's not by chance. You've been searching for a key, a path, a shift, and today you're going to receive something far more powerful than any real estate agent, bank, or savings plan can offer you. By the end of this message, you will understand how to make your dream home move from imagination to manifestation. Not by hard labor, but by spiritual law. So stay with me. Your future self will thank you. Close your eyes for a moment and walk through your dream home. Feel the cool marble beneath your feet. Hear the gentle hum of the smart system activating as you enter. Smell the lavender air freshener you chose for your master suite. Stand by the floor-to-ceiling windows and look out over the ocean, the city, or the forest. Whatever speaks to your soul. Now, here's the truth. That experience isn't fantasy. It's real. The moment you accept it as done, without doubt, without neediness, it begins the process of becoming visible. You see, your reality is molded by your inner conversations, your emotional acceptance, and the state in which you live daily. If you continue to act as though you are someone struggling to one day afford a $5.00 home, then life has no choice but to reflect that. But if you wake up in consciousness each day as the person who already owns that home, the world bends, circumstances conspire, people appear, events align. Your inner world creates cause, your outer world delivers effect. So how do you act as if it's already yours? Not by pretending with empty words, but by dwelling in the end. When you wake up, don't look for your current surroundings. Look through them. In your mind, open the doors to your dream home. Sit on the designer couch. Host the elegant dinner. Smell the wood-burning fireplace in the great room. This is more than imagination, this is creation. Before anything can come into being in the physical world, it must first exist in the unseen world. Your imagination. Everything you have ever touched, lived through, or experienced began as a thought, a picture, a feeling within someone's mind. Your dream home, the one worth $5 million, with its elegant marble floors, expansive windows, and breathtaking views, is no exception. It too must first live within your imagination before it can find form in your physical reality. Imagination is not fantasy. It is not idle daydreaming or wishful thinking. Imagination is the spiritual blueprint of all that is real. It is the creative power of your being. It is the divine tool through which you build your future, brick by brick, room by room, detail by detail. What you see, feel, and accept within, you will one day walk through and live in without. When you look at the greatest achievements in human history, cathedrals, skyscrapers, music, inventions, they were not born out of thin air. They were first imagined. And once they were fully believed, they began to take on shape and substance in the external world. Your imagination is the womb of reality. It conceives, nourishes, and gives birth to your desires. When you step into your dream home in your inner world, you are not pretending. You are doing the most sacred work of creation, conscious assumption. The moment you create a mental scene that implies you are already the owner of this home, and you remain loyal to it in feeling, you have planted a seed. And just like a seed in the soil, it does not grow through constant digging and inspection. It grows through quiet faith, through nourishment, through remaining in the knowing that its manifestation is inevitable. To imagine something with clarity is to give it life. When you rehearse in your mind the moments of joy, peace, comfort, and abundance that come with living in that $5.00 dream home, you begin to saturate your subconscious with a new assumption. This is who I am. This is where I belong. This is my life. And the subconscious mind, which governs the conditions of your reality, does not argue. It does not analyze or resist. It accepts. Once it accepts a new inner state as real, it begins to reconfigure your outer world to match it. Imagination must become more than a fleeting image. It must become your dwelling place. You must visit it so often that it becomes more real to you than your current surroundings. You must walk its halls in your mind, arrange its furniture, cook in its kitchen, feel the joy of owning it, not sometime in the future, but now. Live in it before you see it, because it is law that what you consistently imagine and feel as true will harden into fact. This is not theory, it is principle. Now, understand this. There is no need to know how it will come to pass. The how is never your responsibility. Your only task is to remain faithful to the state of the wish fulfilled. Every time you return to the state of lack or disbelief, you uproot the seed. But every time you return to the vision, feel it, love it, and dwell in it with conviction, you water it, nurture it, and strengthen it. Your imagination is your power. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is through imagination that you take possession of what already exists for you in the spiritual realm. The dream home is not something you must chase, it is something you must accept. It already exists in the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Imagination allows you to choose it, embody it, and bring it into form. The world around you may not reflect your vision right now. Your bank account may disagree, your environment may argue otherwise, but these things are old echoes, reflections of past assumptions, not current truth. If you want to change your circumstances, you must go to the root, and the root is always your imagination. Do not seek to change the world before changing your state of consciousness. The outer world is only a mirror. To change what it reflects, you must change what you are imagining and feeling within. Imagination is not a tool for entertainment, it is the sacred space where destinies are formed. When you treat it as real, it becomes real. When you walk in it as your truth, it becomes your truth. To imagine the $5.00 dream home is to claim it, to own it spiritually. And once you own something spiritually, no force can keep it from you physically, unless you give up your claim. The world may call it unrealistic. Others may say you're dreaming too big, but remember, every skyscraper once seemed impossible. Every fortune once began in silence. Every miracle began in the quiet sanctuary of belief. Your home is already waiting for you in consciousness. Enter it now. Make it your dwelling place, and do not leave. Because the moment you remain faithful to your imagined reality, it begins to take form. Imagination always precedes manifestation. The dream home is yours. Now live as though it is. To feel it real is to step beyond words and thoughts into the realm of direct inner experience. It is not enough to say, I want a $5 million 0 cents home, or to merely visualize it with the mind's eye. True creation happens when you feel, with full emotional certainty, that the home is already yours. Feeling is the secret ingredient. It is the energy that transforms mental pictures into living, breathing reality. You must go beyond imagining the home to feeling yourself within it, settled, established, and at peace. The human imagination, when fueled by emotion, is the most powerful force in existence. Thoughts on their own are abstract. They drift and vanish without much impact. But when a thought is impressed upon the subconscious mind through feeling, it takes root. The subconscious accepts feelings as facts. It does not reason, debate, or delay. It simply says, as you feel, so shall you receive. That is why it is not enough to visualize your dream home like you're watching a movie. You must enter the scene as the central character. You must experience the moment as if it is happening now. Think of the subtle difference between seeing yourself walk through the grand entryway and being the person who owns that home. When you feel yourself opening the door, hearing the sound of your footsteps echo on imported tiles, or lying on your designer bed after a long day, you impress that experience on your deeper mind. The subconscious responds not to fantasy, but to inner reality. And reality, as far as creation is concerned, begins within you. You may ask, how do I feel something that isn't physically here? The answer lies in understanding that everything you see in your outer world today was once unseen. It was once invisible. So the absence of physical evidence means nothing. Your feelings do not come from the outer world, they come from within. You do not need to see the home to feel its comfort. You do not need to walk its halls to know what they look like. The mind, when coupled with emotion, becomes a living space. What you feel inside will shape what you see outside. The way to begin is simple. Each day, take a few moments to withdraw from the noise of the world. Close your eyes, breathe deeply, and gently bring into focus one vivid scene that would take place if you were already living in your dream home. Perhaps you are hosting a family gathering in your gourmet kitchen, or waking up to sunrise over the lake from your private balcony. Choose one scene that implies the wish fulfilled. Then step into it. Do not observe yourself from the outside. Be yourself in that moment. Feel the joy, the pride, the gratitude. Let it move through your body. Don't just think the thoughts, generate the emotion. Touch the countertops in your imagination and feel their cool surface. Smell the scent of fresh coffee drifting through the air. Hear your laughter echoing off the high ceilings. Sit on the sofa and feel the fabric against your skin. Let your inner senses take over. What matters is not how long the feeling lasts, but how deeply it is accepted. A single moment of true inner knowing can outweigh years of wishful thinking. The world will always mirror back to you what you predominantly feel to be true. If you persist in the feeling of already having the home, life must rearrange itself to bring it into your experience. This is not delusion, it is alignment. Reality is not fixed, it is fluid. It bends to the dominant state of your being. That is why feeling it real is so powerful. You are not begging for the home. You are not chasing it. You are assuming the state of already having it. And by doing so, you set the entire universe in motion to reflect that assumption back to you. This requires discipline, yes. It requires persistence. The world of facts may try to argue with you. Your senses may scream that nothing has changed. But you must remain loyal to the unseen reality. Every time doubt creeps in, return to the feeling. Every time fear speaks, step back into the scene. This is the true work. The silent inner movement from wanting to having, from separation to union. You must feel it until it becomes more natural to believe in your home than to believe in your lack of it. Many people wait for the world to give them permission to feel successful, secure, and abundant. They wait for the outer conditions to change before they feel worthy. But the truth is the opposite. The outer only changes when the inner changes first. When you feel the security of ownership, the pride of arrival, the joy of fulfillment, before the evidence appears, you rewrite your story, you shift timelines, you walk in a new reality. And eventually, your outer world catches up. The loan gets approved, the deal falls into place, the right connection shows up, but it does not happen by force. It happens by law. You don't chase the dream, you live in it until it becomes your world. The feeling is the pathway. The feeling is the fuel. The feeling is the proof that it already exists within you. So do not wait. Begin now. Feel it real. Walk through your home, not someday, but today, in consciousness. The doors are already open. The lights are on. The keys are in your hand. Step inside and stay there. Every word you whisper within yourself echoes into the fabric of your life. It's not the words you speak to others that hold the greatest power. It's the silent dialogue you carry on with yourself, day and night. That inner speech is not idle. It is not random. It is creative, constructive, and deeply formative. It becomes the blueprint from which your external world is constructed. If you desire to live in a $5 million zero-cents dream home, you must begin by monitoring and mastering your internal conversations. We are speaking all the time within ourselves, even when we are not aware of it. That constant self-talk creates the atmosphere in which your beliefs and assumptions grow. If your inner speech sounds like, "I'll never afford a home like that," or "people like me don't live in places like that," you are etching those convictions into your reality. Life cannot bring you what you deny inwardly. The world simply reflects what you deeply accept as true. The conditions of your life are molded by the words you affirm repeatedly within the privacy of your own mind. To transform your life, you must first transform your inner conversations. Begin to speak to yourself from the version of you who already lives in the reality you desire. Let that voice become the dominant tone of your inner world. Instead of saying, "I hope one day I'll get there," say to yourself, "This is my home. I belong here. Every room of this house reflects who I am." These aren't mere affirmations to force belief. These are identity statements that shape the frequency of your being. Your inner speech, when aligned with your vision, reorders the energies of life around you to match. Think of your inner world as a sacred chamber. In that space, the words you speak take root like seeds in fertile soil. If you continue to repeat phrases like, "This is too big for me," or "It's just a fantasy," you're planting weeds of doubt that will choke the life out of your dream. But when you say with quiet conviction, "This is mine. I feel it, I see it, I trust it," you are planting seeds of destiny. The more often you water those seeds with consistent inner speech, the faster they bloom into outer form. You cannot afford to speak one way internally and expect the opposite result externally. You cannot say, "I wish," "I can't," or "maybe someday," and expect the universe to respond with, "Here it is." Life mirrors back the tone and substance of your own inner dialogue. If your inner voice sounds defeated, tired, or unsure, life responds accordingly. But when your inner speech is bold, confident, and calm in the assumption that the dream is already fulfilled, the doors begin to open, effortlessly, naturally, and often surprisingly. Even when nothing seems to change outwardly, your inner speech is always at work. That is why it must be guarded and guided with care. When you catch yourself drifting into negativity or doubt, don't condemn yourself. Gently shift the dialogue. Replace the sentence, "Speak again from the version of you who already lives in your dream home." Ask yourself, "What would I say to myself if I were already living there?" The answer might be, "I'm so grateful for this peace," or "Every morning I wake up and feel inspired by the beauty around me." Begin to rehearse those words as though they are true now. They are not lies, they are life. This is not about pretending. It's not about fantasy. It's about activating a new state of consciousness. Inner speech is how you claim your identity. The words you speak inside yourself determine who you believe yourself to be, and who you believe yourself to be decides what you allow into your life. If you believe you are the kind of person who lives in wealth, comfort, and beauty, you will carry yourself differently. You will think differently. You will make decisions that align with that identity. Your actions will begin to reflect your assumptions, and so will your results. The person who talks to themselves with doubt and fear is not just expressing emotions, they are creating a world. And the person who speaks to themselves with assurance and trust is not being naive. They are laying a foundation for manifestation. Your inner speech is not just commentary, it is causative. It is the cause behind the effect you call reality. So begin now. Become intensely aware of how you speak to yourself when you are alone with your thoughts. Is your language lifting you or limiting you? Are you telling yourself the story of your dream or the excuse of your circumstances? Every time you affirm something inwardly, you are sending out instructions to your world. The more consistent your inner dialogue, the more precise the results. You are not begging for a home. You are speaking from the truth that it is already yours, already prepared, already waiting. As you lie in bed at night, talk to yourself like someone who has already arrived. As you go through your day, mentally rehearse scenes from your fulfilled life. Whisper words of gratitude for what is already yours in spirit. Let your inner speech become the music that guides your thoughts, actions, and emotions. Soon, the outer world will echo that song in form, in people, in events, in opportunities. You don't need to chase, push, or force. Speak inwardly what you desire to see outwardly, and watch how life bends to the tone of your voice. What you assume to be true becomes the truth you live. Life is not waiting to reward your efforts, it is responding to your assumptions. If you desire a $5 million, 0-cent dream home, you must not approach it with the attitude of a distant wish or hopeful yearning. You must approach it from the standpoint that it is already yours, already existing, already prepared and aligned with your identity. Your assumption that it belongs to you now becomes the silent force that draws it into your world. The moment you assume a state, even if nothing on the outside confirms it, everything within you begins to shift. Your thoughts change, your feelings respond, your actions adjust, and most importantly, your energy aligns. You are no longer trying to achieve something in the future. You are now living in the experience of it being present. This is not a mental trick or delusion. It is a deep inner knowing that your assumption creates your condition. The outer world has no choice but to rearrange itself to match the truth you hold within. Assumptions are powerful because they bypass effort and reach into the root of belief. What you assume, you accept as fact. And what you accept as fact becomes law in your world. If you assume poverty, life shows you more lack. If you assume limitation, you experience confinement. But the moment you assume wealth, ease, and ownership, even when you're surrounded by the opposite, your consciousness takes command and reality follows. This is not magic. It is spiritual law. It is the structure of the unseen shaping the visible. You must ask yourself honestly, what do I assume when I think of my dream life? Do I assume it's possible for me? Or do I quickly disqualify myself with stories of unworthiness, lack of resources, or timing? Most people live by unconscious assumptions that work against their desires. They want one thing, but assume another. They speak of abundance, but assume lack. They visualize success, but assume failure. This split creates confusion and delay. The key is to unify your thoughts, words, and assumptions into a single direction. That direction is, it is already mine. Assume ownership in your mind before you possess it with your hands. Walk through your dream home mentally. Feel the floors beneath your feet. Smell the wood, the flowers in the garden, the scent of fresh air through open windows. Assume that the keys are already in your hands and that every room reflects your taste, your presence, your purpose. Do not let the senses dictate your reality. Let your assumptions do it, because the senses only confirm what is already assumed. When you change the assumption, the sensory world has no choice but to conform. There is no power in the external world greater than the power of your internal state. And your internal state is determined by what you assume to be true, consistently and unwaveringly. It is not the occasional affirmation or fleeting hope that moves mountains. It is the sustained assumption that becomes your dominant state of being. You must assume the identity of someone who already lives in the reality you desire. This is how transformation occurs, not by wishing, but by knowing. When you assume something deeply, it becomes unconscious. You no longer try to believe it, you simply move from it, you speak from it, you walk into rooms carrying that energy. People respond to it, often without understanding why. Opportunities emerge because your assumption has altered your vibration. You are no longer matching the frequency of lack. You are radiating the signal of fulfillment. Life doesn't give you what you ask for, it gives you what you assume and expect. Even when doubt creeps in, return to your assumption. Do not argue with your senses. Do not try to figure out how it will happen. Your task is not to manipulate the external world. Your task is to remain faithful to the assumption that it is already done. The how will take care of itself. The way will open. Resources will appear. People will assist. But only after your assumption has commanded reality. Your assumption is not just a belief. It is a seed. And like any seed, it must be nurtured with repetition, emotion, and inner acceptance. You do not dig up a seed every day to check if it's growing. You water it, protect it, and trust the process. Do the same with your assumption. Don't let time discourage you. Don't let appearances fool you. Continue to assume that your dream home is already yours, that you are living in it, that it belongs to you by divine right, and in the stillness of that knowing, the walls of resistance will fall. This power does not belong to the elite, the lucky, or the chosen few. It belongs to all who dare to claim it. Your assumption is your claim. Make it boldly, make it consistently, make it with feeling, and then live from that place. Every morning, rise as if you're waking in your dream home. Every evening, lie down in gratitude for the life you are living. Let your inner world become the reflection of your desired outer world, and as surely as day follows night, your assumption will harden into fact. You do not need permission, you do not need proof. You need only the courage to assume the highest truth about yourself and your life. Reality is not fixed, it is flexible, responsive, and obedient to the one who knows who they are. Assume the identity of the one who lives in that $5 million 0-cent home, and you will find that the home was waiting for you all along. What separates those who realize their greatest desires from those who fall short is not talent, opportunity, or even effort. It is the ability to sustain an inner vision regardless of what the outer world presents. The mind that creates a dream must also protect it, nurture it, and hold it with unwavering faith, even when the physical world seems to contradict every part of that vision. This is the inner mastery that draws the invisible into visibility. Your dream home, no matter the size, location, or price, already exists in the invisible realm, and your ability to live in its reality internally, while the external says otherwise, determines when and how it will appear. It is easy to believe when the evidence is all around you. It is natural to feel joy when the keys are in your hand and the doors swing open to your new reality. But the real work is in the unseen stage, when nothing around you supports the vision. That is when most people give up. They look to their bank account, their credit score, the market conditions, and they start adjusting the dream downward. They shrink their faith to match their fear. But the secret is to reverse that pattern. You must raise your state to match the dream and sustain that internal atmosphere until reality catches up. Do not let the outer world dictate what is possible. Instead, let your inner world dominate the external through the constancy of vision. Everything begins within. You must see yourself already living in that $5 million 0-cent home with such clarity that the emotional tone of the experience becomes familiar. See the views from your windows. Feel the comfort of the furniture. Hear the sound of your footsteps on the floor, and breathe in the scent of your chosen space. This is not fantasy, it is creative intention. It is the rehearsal of reality before it becomes physical. The outer world is slow to move, but the inner world is instant. The moment you impress the mind with a vision and sustain it long enough, the laws of life must work to bring it into form. You cannot afford to look at your current environment and declare that it is final. Nothing is final unless you accept it to be. Your current home, your present income, your surroundings, they are reflections of past assumptions, not indicators of future outcomes. The only thing that matters is what you are inwardly focused on now. What you hold in imagination now is shaping what comes next. So hold it, protect it, return to it over and over again. This is not about ignoring reality. It's about creating a new one from the inside out. Every great transformation begins as a decision to see what is not yet visible. The challenge comes when time stretches and results seem delayed. This is when doubt whispers, when logic interferes, and when your senses argue for limitation. In those moments, you must become still and remember, the vision within is more real than the facts around you. The world is not fixed, it is fluid and ever-changing, and it must obey the dominant vibration of your belief. The world conforms to the self-concept you persist in holding. If you see yourself as someone who lives in that dream home, acts from it, and lives in alignment with it, then everything must bend to support that identity. But you must be steadfast. One flicker of doubt is not fatal, but sustained doubt is destructive. Be more loyal to your vision than to your fear. The most successful manifestors are those who live inwardly rich, long before the riches show up. They move through life from a place of fulfillment. They do not wait for evidence to feel deserving. They decide they are worthy now. They do not depend on other people's opinions. They listen to the voice of truth within. They are not swayed by circumstances because they understand that circumstances are just echoes of previous thoughts. The moment you begin to live in the feeling of the wish fulfilled, your reality begins to shape around that feeling. It may take days, weeks, or months, but it will happen because sustained vision cannot fail. Imagine the builder of a great structure. They see the blueprint long before the building rises. There is no evidence yet, just a picture in the mind. But that vision is so detailed, so powerful, so vivid, that they act from it daily. Brick by brick, the structure forms. That is how you must approach your dream. Build it first in your consciousness. Return to the vision, morning and night. See it with emotion, gratitude, and certainty. When setbacks arise, return to the blueprint. When people question you, return to the inner design. When your emotions waver, go back into the feeling of already having what you desire. This discipline of holding the vision is not just a mental activity. It is spiritual maturity. It is the understanding that you are the cause, not the effect. That the world you see is a mirror, not a master. When you truly understand this, you will stop reacting to delays or opposition. You will realize that the only thing you ever needed was sustained inner focus, because that is the birthplace of all reality. So do not be distracted by appearances. Do not let time discourage you. Do not water the weeds of doubt when the seed of your dream is growing. Sustain your vision. See the home. Feel it. Live from it internally. And keep doing so until the world has no choice but to show you what you've seen all along. You are not waiting on the house to appear. The house is waiting on you to remain faithful to what you have imagined. Gratitude is not merely an act of politeness or a spiritual afterthought. It is the final seal, the inner signature that declares to the universe, it is done. When you live in the state of gratitude for a reality that has not yet taken form in the physical world, you are no longer trying to manifest it. You are now dwelling in the state of its completion. Gratitude is the emotional evidence that you have received what you asked for, even if your senses tell you otherwise. It is the deep, reverent knowing that the dream is not just possible, it is already yours, and you are now simply walking into the life that has been prepared for you. Most people use gratitude as a reaction to something good happening. They wait for the blessing to arrive before they offer thanks. But this is a reversed way of living. The moment you understand that your inner world is the true source of all creation, you begin to use gratitude as a proactive force. You begin to thank life for what you have internally accepted, not just for what your eyes can see. You don't wait for the physical keys to your dream home to feel thankful. You wake up every morning with a heart full of appreciation for the home that is already yours in consciousness. This shift is subtle, but it is the most powerful transition you can make in the manifestation process. Gratitude shifts your identity. When you feel thankful for a reality, you are no longer someone who is hoping or waiting. You are now someone who has. You have already received, and the feeling of that reception saturates your thoughts, your posture, your speech, and your decisions. Gratitude is proof that you have stopped desiring and started possessing. It means you've stopped asking and started living. When you give thanks as though you already dwell in that $5 million, 0 cents dream home, you begin to align your vibration with its frequency. You are no longer reaching toward it, you are resonating with it. And that resonance is what draws it into your experience. There is something miraculous about the way gratitude affects your energy. It silences doubt, it calms the restless mind, it transforms longing into satisfaction. It softens resistance and brings peace. Why? Because it implies completion. The one who gives thanks for something that hasn't shown up physically yet is declaring, I trust the process. I know who I am, I know it is done. That level of spiritual confidence is irresistible. It radiates a signal to life itself that you are now ready to receive. Gratitude is not weakness, it is power dressed in humility. It is the vibration of certainty, disguised as reverence. Imagine walking through the halls of your dream home in your imagination, feeling the textures, hearing the sounds, seeing the light pour through the windows. Now, instead of asking when it will arrive or how it will happen, you pause, breathe in that atmosphere, and give thanks, not out of desperation, not as a tactic, but as a genuine outpouring of love for the life you are already living within. This moment is the bridge between the unseen and the seen. You are no longer waiting. You are celebrating the fulfillment that has already occurred in the realm that matters most, the inner one. Gratitude also guards your mind. It keeps you from slipping into anxiety, fear, or impatience. When you live in a constant state of thankfulness for your dream already realized, you stop asking questions like, how will I afford it? Or what if it doesn't happen? Those questions no longer fit your identity. Why would someone who already lives in the home of their dreams worry about affording it? That would be absurd. So instead, your inner dialogue changes. You say things like, thank you for this beautiful life. Thank you for the peace this home brings me. Thank you for the joy I feel waking up every day in the place I've always dreamed of. These words reinforce your new state and make it easier to stay there, no matter what your current circumstances look like. Another extraordinary thing happens when you truly feel gratitude. The world begins to respond. People, opportunities, resources, all begin aligning with your new emotional posture. You may receive a sudden call, meet a person who opens a door, or stumble across a path you never expected. Gratitude places you in the flow of divine timing. It lifts your vibration into a state of harmony where miracles feel normal and effort feels joyful. You begin to move through life with ease, not because your circumstances have changed yet, but because you have. And when you change, your world has no choice but to follow. There is no begging in gratitude. There is no tension. There is no fear. Gratitude is relaxed, confident, and open. It says, I already know I'm home. I already feel the safety, the luxury, the space, the joy. I don't need proof. I am the proof. And that state of being is the final step. Gratitude locks the door behind you. Because you've already moved in, there is no going back to lack. There is no more searching. You are no longer trying to manifest a dream. You are simply allowing it to arrive on the outside, just as it has already settled within. So live in the state of thanks, not once, not just in the morning or at night, but as a way of being. Let your thoughts be full of appreciation. Let your conversations reflect the peace of having arrived. Let your emotions mirror the joy of fulfillment. Gratitude is your declaration of ownership in the invisible. And once you own it there, it must show up here, because the universe does not ignore a soul who is thankful for a reality that has not yet appeared. It responds to that soul with favor, with speed, and with abundance. Gratitude doesn't just welcome the dream, it becomes the proof that the dream is already here. The dream home is not just about wealth or luxury, it's a symbol of your expansion, your belief, your willingness to be more than your past. If you continue to act as if it's already yours, you'll not only own the home, you'll own the state of mind that unlocks everything else you ever desired. So here's your challenge. For the next 7 days, live mentally in that home. Eat there, sleep there, give thanks there. Whenever doubt knocks, return to that state. Don't explain how it'll come. Just embody that it already has. Because once your inner state is established, the outer world must conform. The home already exists. The question is, do you exist in it?